Most of your editing for your site will be using the Elementor editing feature. It's just a way to do it so you don't have to code, and it's a special drag and drop that makes designing especially easy. So I'm already logged into my WordPress site. I'm going to go over to Pages. And now I see a whole bunch of pages. Well, the one that I want to edit is our home page, and it will always say Elementor on the edge of it. And when it has an Elementor tag, make sure you edit with Elementor. If you don't, it can sometimes get messed up as it tries to transfer information between the different editors that you use, and it can get very confused in the process. So only edit Elementor sites with Elementor. If you have a page that already has stuff on it, then it will be hard to transfer it to Elementor. So choose at the beginning when you're building a page instead of halfway through. We're still waiting for this to load. It's a powerful feature, so it takes a long time. And here we are at the Elementor editing platform. You saw down in the left-hand corner it told me changes were made. That's because I just changed the sidebar in a different menu. I have a different tutorial video for that. Here we have the site that we're using, and this is the editing panel for it. You notice when I'm highlighting over things or scrolling over things, it shows a whole bunch of dotted lines and blue boxes. That's just telling you how this website is built. So this is saying we have columns, that's in the left-hand corner, and then here we have a picture, and here we have some text, and here we have some text, so that you can only edit one thing at a time. You don't have to edit everything. This is a drag and drop platform, so you don't have to know any HTML or CSS, which can be very nice. So if I want a heading, I can just kind of put it where I want it. Be like, okay, well, I want it right there. And there, I have my heading. You will find that there's some differences between where you place it and making sure it's in the right box. It's kind of a trial and error thing, and as you build your site, you'll figure out kind of exactly where you want to place a certain thing. It doesn't really matter all at once. It just kind of matters for cleanliness as you're trying to edit things, and move things is another big thing. If I want to edit my heading, it brings you to an editor panel on the left-hand side, and this is where you can change the text. There you go. I changed the text. There's some stuff on the bottom of that. You can change the alignment as far as tags and all that stuff. You can play with them, but it's not super important. You can find what they do as you go. So this is a heading 1. It makes it slightly bigger. Let's see what heading 6 does. Makes it super small. And then you can choose your size as well. So you can play around with that and see how it goes and make sure that it's exactly how you want it. That's our content. There's also a style feature, and that gives you colors and typography. You do want to be a little bit careful with this because if you see this like world icon on the left, that means this text is being dictated by a global feature. So there's a global font and a global color that's happening right now. And so this is a way to manually overwrite it. But for the most part, you don't want to manually overwrite. We want consistency in our websites. So you want to follow the global features. Then there's the advanced stuff. And this is where you get like exact placing. Margin and padding. Z-index you probably won't use a lot. And all this stuff is just like super nitty-gritty stuff, and you can play with that as you want. The most that you're going to use is probably the margin and padding to get things exactly where you want it to go. So if you see, I put a padding feature in there and it moved things. So margins and paddings is a way to get something exactly where you want it. So I'm done editing my heading. That's great. now I'm back to my general editors panel. I can also go to that top left-hand side corner, and this is where we're going to get our global settings. Really, right now, the only thing that you want to look at is site settings. And here you see what I was talking about before, the global colors and the global fonts. You have typography, buttons, images. These are things that will affect the entire website as you change them. You want to be a little careful while changing them, but it is a way to immediately change the look and feel of your site without having to go through each individual feature. So it's a powerful thing, but be intentional as you use it. Don't just randomly change the global fonts and global colors, especially if you have a partner on the website, because then they come back and they're like, oh, that was weird, and then they think something's wrong. And so that's the global settings. Now we're coming back. We're gonna wait. And now we're back. And it loads weird. Here we go. So it's loading everything. What this is saying is that it has a lot of data to work with, and it couldn't load it all at the same time. Part of that is because I have all of these animations going, which for most sites I will be getting rid of because I hate them, and they make things really hard to load. The only other thing you really need to know about this panel is how to make things mobile friendly. So there's a mobile feature. If you go down to the bottom left hand corner, you'll see it says responsive mode. Right now we're in desktop mode. However, we want to make sure that this site works on mobile as well. So you go and you click the mobile tag, and it's going to shrink it so we know what somebody's going to see on their phone. Make sure that when you're making the site, you flip between the two and you know that your site looks good on both things. Don't just assume that your desktop feature will work on your phone, or that your phone look will work on the desktop. They're different things, and it will be different. And so I just click this change the text thing again, and I'm going to go to the responsive tag, and now I can decide if I want this thing to show up on each platform. So I can say, oh, I don't want to see it on the desktop, or oh, I don't want to see it on the phone. And this is a way to further control what a person is seeing on both platforms. To avoid it being too complicated, you do want to avoid having to hide things, but if you have to, you have to. And then when you're done, you're going to click Update, and that's to save all your changes. And then we can go back and we can exit to our dashboard. That is how you use the Elementor editing platform. As you continue using it, it'll get easier and become more intuitive, but it is powerful and it lets you to do a lot of things. And so, yeah, happy editing.